Good morning. Welcome to Satsang. One comes to Satsang to know something else than what the world offers. So it's like a dispeller of darkness or ignorance. But what does it mean? It dispels the idea that there is such a thing as darkness and ignorance in what is. So surely it shows that it will never be through the mind that one can be the obviousness of what is. It's when the mind is not touched. And it's very easy to recognize what is the mind because it's dual. If you speak of light, it means you have a concept of darkness. If you speak of black, it means you have the concept of white. It's dual. It's just dual. Because it's dual, it gives a sense of separation. So that's the mind. So let's be freed from the tyranny of the mind. The mind will show up as long as we live in its dual way. There is no other way. But we can always remind oneself not to go there for a moment and just see that what is always available when one doesn't go along his mind. I mean, in its obviousness. Et voilà. It's very funny, when you are a seeker, you make your own journey according to the concept you have in your mind. So it's a kind of practice, you do some practice. To hear again and again what you are is already here, you don't need practice. It's when the moment you leave the practice that there is a chance just to keep quiet. But let's say once the seeker, the search is gone, there is a practice. The practice is to be vigilant, not to attain anything like it was understood before, but to keep what you are breathing, not always covered by the mind. Because you see, the mind is not trustable. So remind yourself in anyway is good for you, remind yourself. Any question? Anything you want to say? Welcome. Somebody has a match? Okay, thanks.
I have a question, Ganga. How come that so many miracles happen around the Master?
He doesn't know.
I have the idea that miracles happen, but only around the Master you see them.
Only?
Only around the Master is it that you see them.
There is no intention from the Master. It may just happen. Probably it's the good faith of the one who comes to the Master, the trust. Anyway, if we speak of miracle, I think the biggest miracle is to have met the Master, because he makes you see that you don't need to reincarnate in anything. You are enough empty and full by yourself.
About the Master. It's you said to dispel darkness in the beginning. It's very interesting because it's defined in a very simple way also, the Guru. There's a verse for that.
Okay.
Gukaras tvandakaro vai, rokaras tannivartakaha, andakara nirodhitvat, gururitya vidhiyate. Gukara, the syllable gu, gukaras tvandakaro vai, stands for ignorance, for darkness. Rukara tannivartakaha. The syllable ru stands for removing that, dispelling that. Andakara nirodhitvat. Because he does that. Guru Ritya Vidhiyate is called the Guru.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does it mean that normally there is nothing to dispel because there is not such a thing
Yes.
as darkness and light, where one
It dispels that
is?
concept.
Yeah. It's. I think this is the most important and valuable thing to hear. Otherwise, we still play with the sweeping concepts to keep another one. But it may take time. It doesn't matter at all. To hear this, it makes sense to hear also there is nothing to do, because you have not to clear up your mind in the end. It's the only thing we can do as long as we feel we are in the mind, but in reality, it's about what is and what has always been. So for that, there is nothing to do, sure.
Elsewhere.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah. What?
A bird. Very nice. Yeah.
Elsewhere it is said, Nastya kartaha kartena sagurumeva vigachet. You approach a guru. For what? To see that which is not produced, not made, and that which cannot be attained by doing something.
It's not a question, it's just a sharing that in so these long years since I came here, instead of being free from satsang, I became more depending and attached.
Yes,
And
that's wisdom. That's what I said in the beginning.
and I can't create this kind of space alone. So that is the dependence.
Why you call it dependence? You
Okay.
can call it a blessing. Whatever will remind you in this tormented life is a blessing. It's totally a wrong idea to think that you can be dependent on a guru, on satsang. Only that removes all dependencies, or reminds you that there was never a dependence, only in the mind. But we don't come to satsang to clear up the mind. We come to finally be struck by what produces all this. The world will call it foolish, you see. But we come to satsang not to listen to the voice of the world anymore.
Hi.
Hi.
In the country where I come from, there is a big war now. Lots of hatred and violence and fear and death.
Yeah.
And this is in full contrast to the pure serenity and quietness of this place.
Yeah.
And usually we see war as pure negative, pure evil.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I remember that the Bhagavad Gita was given by Krishna to Arjuna on the warfield. And this is one of the greatest gems of truth that was ever written in the world. So is war pure evil and negative, or is it part of the human karma that we have to go through?
Wow, what a question, yeah. It looks like being incarnated in this body, we cannot avoid to burn or to do karmas. But you see, I think I will ask Miguel to speak a bit more because he knows very well the Gita. I just know that karmas are unavoidable, the karmas you bring with your birth, it looks like. Or they get exhausted. And if by immense luck and chance you know who you are, new karmas are not formed. But exhausted, it may be up to the last moment of your life also. That is not in one's hand. So it's unavoidable. But I would like that Miguel tell something more. Did I reply to you or not fully? Oh, okay, the essence. Yeah, I can only do that. So, what is the meaning of Krishna telling Arjuna to do his thing when?
Well, before saying that, I really thought this word was very important that you said, unavoidable.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really there's this part of the war and why it happened and everything, but the main thing of it, there are two things there. One, some circumstances in our life are unavoidable.
Mm.
So when you cannot avoid,
You just act.
you just go through it.
Yeah.
And the other thing that is there is that in that circumstance, what triggered, because Arjuna had met Krishna for a long time, for years.
Mm-hmm.
They were cousins. They were very close to each other.
Yeah.
This most people don't know.
Yeah.
It's not like he met him there.
Yeah.
He was knowing him for a long time.
Mm.
But for all that time, he was just a friend.
Mm.
And in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he's just there with Krishna, complaining about all his circumstances.
Mm.
Till at a certain moment, he understands that what makes Arjuna great is that the problem is not the circumstances. The problem is in himself. So at that moment, he says, Karpanya dosho pahata swabhavaha prachami tvam dharma samudhachetaha yatsyanishchitam brohitan me shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. I am taken. All this time, I have been taken by this krapana dosha, which means I'm just looking at things. I don't see really what's the essence.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm confused about all this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do. So I ask you, brohitan me nishchitam, please tell me, yat shreyas. Shreyas is another word for moksha, for liberation.
Mm-hmm.
What will free me from this?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me clearly. Shishyasteham, I am your disciple. Shadhimam, please teach me. Tvam prapannam, I surrender to you. And what is taught there also is that what's the ideal circumstance to learn or to be exposed to this, wherever you are, whenever this gets you. Because they were in the middle of the battlefield and it was there that he was taught.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a perfect situation to
Yeah.
have satsang, or it's just when the demand is there, the answer will be there.
Yeah.
So
And you continue whatever is falling upon you.
yes. And then at when he says, rise yourself and do what is to be done, because it's not about doing. You are in a circumstance, you act. But know who you are.
Yeah. So how lucky you met Krishna to have spoken as you did? Ah.
And when he's about to start teaching, it is said that Prahasanniva, he was like smiling at all that Krishna, because he finally saw he was not seeing a problem, and he saw that Arjuna was seeing,
Was ready.
was ready.
Papaji was always telling the one who is killed and the one who kills, they are from the same.
That's Gita. Nahanyate hanyamane sharire.
The Gita comes from there. Yeah. That's why you need a a famous dose of unshakable yourself, because it's easy to speak like this, but once you are in those circumstances, you see, you need a solid background. And that is acquired when you allow vigilance, reminding yourself again and again, up to your last breath, as said Papaji.
Do you want me to read that?
Oh yeah, you can, it's beautiful.
Because it's...
Okay. Can I just say one thing more which comes? You see the solid background, because one doesn't measure enough how this manifestation has its own power. So it's not trustable. And when circumstances are very strong, confronting, even let's say unacceptable, the mind will produce a thought. It will say many things, but it can say even, what was the use to go to Satsang, to know myself, when this is here? Or, all is so absurd. You see, thoughts, if you have not solid background, you will follow them. So, really, it is not a small thing to hear. Remind yourself again and again, not to fall into the jaw of the mind, even if you fall, but at once you wake up. Yes.
So, this is something that I've sent Ganga some months ago. Swamiji has still a disciple called Swami Paramarthananda. He lives in Chennai. He must be 70 something now, and
Very young.
and he's quite something, because he had a very, very traditional upbringing. And he studied Veda Patashala, so he's very, very traditional, doesn't give interviews, lives very quietly, he just teaches. So, as he was teaching, this is a transcription of one of his classes, and it was a Bhagavad Gita class. So he said, so here Krishna points out that Vedanta Shravanam means exposing to the teaching. need not necessarily be the study of the original scriptures themselves. We do not insist that one should study Upanishad, Gita, Brahma Sutra. We do not insist upon the text. We insist upon the teaching part only. Therefore, if there is a guru who does not teach the Gita, Upanishad, Brahma Sutra, or Panchadasi, etc., but he takes the essence of all these books and presents in a different language, without touching any of these books, in his own language, maybe English, maybe vernacular, maybe Russian, maybe Chinese, Vedanta does not refer to the actual language. Vedanta refers to the content teaching. And therefore, Shri Krishna says there are some people who do not have access to the originals, but they gather the teaching from other people, from the gurus. The gurus themselves have the knowledge of the originals. Even if I do not know the original, it does not matter. I can gain moksha even if I am taught in any language.
Beautiful. But you see, it is very beautifully said, but it's also so natural to say so, because all those scriptures have been able to be expressed because of first they realized who they are. So it comes from there. Surely, sure. Amazing.
But sometimes, I mean, not here, but for those who study the scriptures,
Yeah, it's a good blow. Yes. So far, nobody knows the trick. Nobody. And it will never be known. So that's what I insist to say. It's your own demand. It's your own demand which will present you what you can follow, what will help you.
Ganga, is the demand part of the karma?
Ah, must be. Yeah. But it's a strange demand, because it is to free you from beliefs of incarnations and karmas and all that. I don't know if it is a correct answer, but still it happens to someone, huh? The demand. There is a seeker there. The very particular thing is that if we call it a karma, let's say, it brings you back to the source of the risings, the source of all the apparent world. So it's very particular, huh? Unique. Hi.
Good morning. Good morning, gang. I'm really happy to hear you speaking today about the guru and the darkness, the removal of darkness and karma because it just seems to be what was needed for me to hear today. Because there's been a lot of confusion in me, and also in the scriptures it says about coming to the Guru to have the karma removed, and doing anything in service that the Guru presents in order to do that.
Yeah.
And this is what I loved, and there was a devotion in me for that, and a utter following of that.
Yeah.
And and even yesterday, I out of the blue, really, after being on the beach, I received a message from a teacher I was with for many years, talking about this darkness and what I...
What a strange day to speak of darkness.
Well, it was intentional, and how to, clear that through money, really, through giving of myself again. So, and then I come to Satsang, and and I hear this conversation today,
Yeah.
and
You see, all your years of faith and service brings you here to hear what you hear today.
yes, yeah.
So you are freed from all you had to carry and to believe in. You are freed from that. You are freed from that because you always have been what you are.
Yes, and that the removal of, by coming to the Guru, is to remove the concept of
Yes.
separation, of light and dark,
Yes.
not to purify the darkness.
No.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
You understood the best.
Yeah.
So now, don't go back in your mind.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
You have seen it.
Yeah.
Just honor it now. Just honor that. Very good, you understood that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a blessing, biggest blessing, actually. I'm very happy for you. Yeah.
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 Oh dear, goodness. Oh.
I think I think it's better. Listen to me. She will be all right.
I feel the same.
Yeah,
She's
yeah, yeah,
wanting to cry
yeah,
together.
but yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Don't distract her. Shh. Wanting too much brings multiplicity. Okay. Woo. We are back. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Don't worry. That's why I repeat, I think if we still need an indication, the 1980 for me is a diamond, because it doesn't ask you to work on darkness. It doesn't ask you to realize the light. Whatever will appear in you, let it be darkness, you will say neti. I am not that. And if the light comes into you, you will say also, I am not that. So you are really safe from the mind, from the tyranny of the mind. You see. And one day you will not need even this sweeping, neti sweeping. You will just keep quiet, where you always have been. Hmm? Or a few other diamonds like, don't land anywhere, don't land on darkness, don't land on light. Or who am I in fact? Who am I who knows darkness or who knows light? And it brings you back from where all this arose. You see, you have to keep your trident with you, day and night. And don't change trident, just keep one. Yeah.
And it's a fact for me that there is not a single appearance which is real. Nothing. So I also ask it, there is nothing here what is real. So everything, but still
Everything.
but still there is something in me or between us or through me what do not belong to me. I don't know what I wanted to ask.
I will not speak like this, you see. I mean, you are as real for my body. My body is in the world of apparent reality. So used to, but I am not living like telling, oh, you are not real and I am not real. All these are indications just to one day have a split second freed from the mind. All the rest you see, it is not describable. It would not be correct to say it's not real as it is real. It is not describable. Otherwise you fall into the absolutism, which is also fake and false.
I think I wanted to ask for a tool still, what I can hold, which is
But
real. But I don't know that.
are you willing to hold it? Because I give all the time tools. So who is not taking it? I give tools all the time. So who is not taking it? How come you have not yet a tool? Can you take it? I don't force anybody. I don't impose anybody. I give, it's up to you to take it or not. Hmm? Thank you very much.